So hi, folks. There's quite some people in the room. I can see some of you. It's always hard to get people's feedback and everything. So if you can have your camera on and I can see your smiles, frowns, and everything, that helps me tremendously in knowing whether I'm getting into the right direction or I should duck under my table and pretend it never happened. You can all see my screen, so please a thumb up virtually or real if you see my screen. I'm guessing that works. Otherwise, if it still doesn't work after 5 minutes, then please yell. That's fine. I can take that kind of interventions. Yeah, Eelco Rustenburg, I've been doing Scrum and applying Scrum and Agile practices ever since the 1996 or something, so early after Jeff invented it. Got onto SAFe in 2010, 11-ish, at Philips at the time, 2012. And it's been with me my entire career. So instead of a software engineer, which was what I started out to be, I became more of an organizational engineer. And the recent years, I was trying to figure out how to deal with human behavior. And I was telling leadership, you have to start thinking about your behavior, change, blah, 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 all these kinds of things. And always when I took this path, I would get these kinds of responses like, yeah, but it's a bit fluffy, it's a bit scary, psychology, sociology, it's all kind of like soft stuff. So when I did a workshop at one of the top companies, really tech companies, for the leadership team, and one of them said after my more biology-based presentation, yes, we need more serotonin in this company. I thought like, hey, now I'm onto something. Because if that type of person starts asking me for help how to do it, I actually touched him. I made him kind of think in a different way. I've been working on biology for about 10 years now, a little bit low profile at the start, a little bit more prominent in recent years, because I believe it's one of the big topics that is coming aboard and that is actually happening as we speak in the coming years. So I wanted to talk to you about the hormone side of things. So I'm going to an excerpt of biology. I'm going to assume that you don't know anything about biology. I'm simplifying things here and there. If you want to go into a debate about that, please wait until in the breakout, because then we can have a fight about the more intricate details that are behind this, neurotransmitters versus hormones, for example. But for now, I'll just take you a little bit on this path of how to look and think about this in a new way, because I think it's one of the most relevant things. And why do I think this? Because we know in performance of an organization that team dynamics matter. This is it, right? We know that morale boosts productivity. We know that teams outperform the sum of individuals. We also know that performing to performing, which is the typical way of looking at team development, is taking quite long. I say 100 plus, that's on the optimistic side. It's typically a year or longer before we really start to say we are in this, and it requires hard work. As RTEs, as Scrum Masters will tell you, as you will tell me, it's a freaking job to get teams to performing, let alone high performing. Everybody's now rooting for high performing teams. I just recently said, look, all these initiatives, if I really want to do something that is above average, I need to now say hyper performing teams, because there's inflation in these terms now. So that's the thing. So team dynamics impact for personal well-being, or even more so, it's all connected. So if you look at how the system of a human at work works, then your mental state, how you feel, how you are in this moment, does influence your individual productivity, which influences team productivity. Team productivity influences hormones. It's actually getting responses from others, and it kind of triggers hormones in your system, which then again influence your mental state, which is, now the circle is round. So it is factually, and really, like, this is hard science, that being nice to each other has an effect directly on team productivity, as an example. So that's what I wanted to go into. I have a lot of slides that I had to hide to get this done in 20 minutes or so, which is a challenge and stressful for me, because this is a 2-day workshop that I tried to cram into 20 minutes. Yeah, let's do it. Let's have some fun. For this, I'm going to ask you to do something that is a little bit difficult. Okay, I'm going to ask you, and don't send it into the chat, just type it in. So I want you to type into the chat something that you may or may not send. That's a decision that I want to defer. You're not going to send it into the chat. I'm going to ask you to type in the darkest thought you have ever had as a human being. So, I could say I've been on the verge of killing myself. I've been thinking about stealing something. Really dark stuff that you've had. And I want you to type it in, not send it, because then everybody will see your dark thought. So we will decide whether we want to do that later, but I just want you to type it in and look at it yourself. See if you can confront yourself with your darkest, deepest, secretive kind of thought. Could be anything. This is quite a difficult moment maybe for you to kind of accept it and look at it. I'm doing this, of course, for a little bit of purpose. So please tell me with a thumb down, maybe, if you've done it, because a thumb up is a bit strange, huh? But just to share, like, okay, has everybody done it? Does everybody type something in that says, yes, this is my, well, the thing I typically won't share because it's too dark for that, but I do have that on my mind, one time I remember, or recently, or frequently. Now, what you will notice is that your whole body system now is changing a little bit, because you know that you still have the choice of sending it or not sending it. So I could now ask you to send it, and then you actually become even more stressed, right? I'm not going to send it, so please, this is enough for the experiment. You can just delete it. Don't touch the wrong buttons and accidentally send it. That will make you really stressed out. That's a terrible feeling. So I just wanted to kind of, the thing is that I want to start with this because I don't want to end with this kind of dark feeling. But what happens right now in your body when you do that is that while you're typing it, you realize the danger of sending this out, even if it's something from long ago. You say, yeah, these people don't know me, and now they see this dark thing, it's terrible, and they will see my name to it. So the stress is building up in your body. So with adrenaline, which is I'm doing it, I'm doing something really scary here, it's on the edge. And then with it comes cortisol, which is a stress hormone, creating a little bit of anxiety, saying, oh, this is scary. I'm scared now. Now, with this in your brain, you will not be able to perform really well. So this is the thing, we're triggering hormones here. And the first hormone that we did was this adrenaline and cortisol, which is stress. So now I'm going to show you this. These are little jokes to kind of make you laugh. And as I can see by the pictures here that I right now see, there's not too much laughter. Even the wonderful joke in the middle is Simon in 3rd grade. Describe yourself in 3 words. This 8-year-old boy says, I am a rebel, which is funny. But right now, it's not so funny. So that's just to give you a little bit of a feeling of what happens if you have cortisol in your body. So I'm going to do the second part of the exercise is that I actually want you to stand up. This is going to feel a bit strange, but I'm doing this for a purpose. You need to start producing endorphins now to feel good again. And endorphins are easily received while doing some jumping. This is the easiest way I can do it. Okay, because it's online. So normally I would have a couple of really good jokes and make you laugh, but now I'm going to just give it a little bit of a different thing. So I'm just going to stand up and see if I can make sure that my head is not chopping off by the screen. So I'm going to be here. And we're just going to, like, with your hands up, because that's a good winning mode. You've won the match, right? You basically won the match. That's the thing you want to do. Every kid in the world, if you say, hey, we won, what did you do? You do this. Yeah, we won. That's an amazing thing. We won. It's amazing. So now, of course, you start to smile a bit because this feels really stupid. We're standing here like this. You hope your family doesn't enter your room right now, right? You hope that you're not being seen like, oh, I'm actually in a cubicle and people see me jumping out. It's kind of a strange thing. So this is really funny. Let me see the faces of the people that are doing it. There's a little bit of relief. There's a bit of resilience. Like, okay, this is better. So now what happened? I could also make the worst dad joke on the planet. So I'll do that as well to make the last ones who weren't able to get up or something. So my son comes to me, my 14-year-old son, he says, Dad, you know why chickens are so funny? And I said, no, I don't know. And he says, because. So I'm like, really, this is a joke? This is the worst joke on the planet. And he starts smiling and he's still laughing about this every time that I see him. And I say, because. He's like laughing his ass off. So this is, it's a stupid joke, but still it's a good one. So what happens now with what we've done, we've actually created endorphins. This is another way of getting it. So I think this is hilarious for people who know the original Batman song. If you don't, then this is not funny at all. So somebody actually was walking through this aisle and did actually see this. So that's quite, for me, that's hilarious. So somebody says, look at that. If you see that, that's the song of Batman. Na 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 Batman. So that was another joke. So these exercises, these jokes, produce endorphins, which is one of the first positive hormones that we're discussing. So adrenaline and cortisol are needed to get you into action, and cortisol is needed to get you out of trouble, right? So cortisols are making you kind of feel like anxious. Your shoulders go up, your chest goes in, your muscles contract, your breathing goes up, your perineum contracts. Everything happens to make you feel like flight or fight. That's the whole system. But it feels terrible in an office environment, and we need to kind of get back to normal because creativity is shut down when we are in stress. Working together, collaboration shuts down when we are in stress. So stress mode is not the mode to be in. Endorphins, or having a good laugh, is actually the most effective way. So if you see your train in trouble in terms of stress modes and these kinds of things, the first line of defense, very simply put, is to make everybody laugh. Because laughter is one of the great ways of dealing with the system creating endorphins, and endorphins make you laugh. People who do running know what runner's high is. This is exactly the same thing. It's just not as effective for office people to start running around the office for 42 kilometers and then say, oh, I have so many endorphins now, but I don't want to work anymore because I'm dead tired. So having a good laugh in the work helps you to create trigger points for your body to create endorphins laughing. First one. Then, and this is actually something you could do now. You could check your email and your Facebook and see if you got any likes. I will also say, I will give you a compliment right now, and that will actually trigger a little bit of this thing. It's amazing. You are the best crowd I've ever had online. So the faces that I see and the engagement and everything, it's amazing. This is by far the most receptive group on the planet. So I'm tricking you a little bit because you can see your faces, but yeah, right. He's exaggerating. But the lizard brain is kind of tempted to like this compliment anyway. Well, I know he's messing with me, but I don't care. I like the compliment. Let's take it. What happens is you get a small shot of dopamine. And a small shot of dopamine is what is very addictive. Dopamine is an egocentric hormone, just like endorphins. You are the one that benefits from this. And these two hormones create a good feeling. So dopamine, as addictive as cocaine, by the way, creates this short-lived feeling of success. Yes, this is why my kids, 11, 12, 13, 14, all four are constantly on their phone looking for new followers, likes, and all these kinds of things. I don't know if you have children in this age, you will recognize the pattern. Everybody's always on their phone. They're glued to them. This is not because they're crazy, it's because of dopamine addiction. So our phones are dopamine addictions. But our sprint demos are dopamine machines. Because it's a success mode. Great job, well done. We have another sprint, another PI system demo, another system. All these organizational patterns and rituals are built to create a little bit of dopamine to compensate for the fact that we're not happy. We want to be successful, 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 which means dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. Sale, apples in Mother Nature, or WhatsApp messages that you enter. I have another message, a little shot of dopamine. An apple, food, dopamine. That's what it's intended to do. This is the lizard brain talking. Remember, this is not you smartass. This is your dumbass. Basically saying, I don't know what to do. I just need to eat and stay safe and reproduce. These are the three things I need to care about. So food, dopamine, let's run towards it, eat it. Great. Right? So if you feel miserable and you be tempted to go into a sale or buy something online, that's dopamine. So dopamine still, like endorphin, is a selfish hormone. The only person who benefits from this is you. Which brings me to the last two hormones, which are more interesting. And this one is the one that I want to focus on. So I want you to take not even 2 minutes. Think about somebody in your environment that you know that you would actually think of, like, he or she could really deserve just a nice word, not a compliment, but just, I'm thinking about you. I want to thank you. I miss you. Something sweet. If you would send that right now to somebody in your environment, whether it's your mother or a friend you haven't spoken to for a long time, or anybody, if you do that right now, you'll be amazed with the effect it has on you and on that person. Just try it. Okay, what I will in the meantime do is to give you a little bit of background on this. So please try to use this time to send that beautiful, sweet message that doesn't say you did a great job or not success or something, but just, I'm thinking about you, I'm here for you, I miss you, something like that. Somebody who could really need such a message. Just recently, I sent a message like that to my friend. I said, hey, you're always asking me if I want to go out to play pool. I never have time, but you never give up on me. Thanks for being such a great friend. You're so sweet. That led to really an amazing moment with him where really we both had tears in our eyes, like, wow, this is really something. So serotonin is the hormone that I'm talking about. If you do a random act of kindness, something special happens. The person who receives produces serotonin. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. That's what happens. You're giving it. You see that you're giving it is also producing serotonin in you. So that's already 2 people getting it. But now the best part, and I'll share, there's a wonderful example, a famous example. If you, in the Olympics, I don't know which year actually it was, there was a runner who in the last 200 meters of his run, snapped his leg and he couldn't walk anymore. Everybody's like, oh no, just in front of the finish line, and now he's breaking down. His dad comes out of the audience, picks him up. They start running together, or stumbling together to the finish line. That moment has been described as one of the most beautiful moments in Olympic history. Right? It's everybody in that stadium goes wild. You can look at that and get tears in my eyes. If I now think about it, actually maybe you'll see it, I can feel the emotion coming back to me again. So that's amazing, because that means that I can produce serotonin, this hormone of happiness and contentness, by just witnessing someone else doing something really nice. So as a leader in the pandemic, we made apple pies for the consultants at home because everybody was working from their basements and we felt terrible about them. So we said, okay, we're going to do something. We brought apple pies around. So I bring an apple pie to one of the consultants. I ring her door. She opens up and says, you brought an apple pie. That's so sweet, because I know you are more busy than me even probably. And here you are taking the time to personally deliver me an apple pie that you baked yourself. That is so sweet. So I feel awesome, right? I'm getting like, oh, this is working really well, and I really meant well. This is all great. The most beautiful part of the story is a guy with a bike walking on the sideway, and he stops and he looks back at us and he looks at it and you can see his face going, oh, he thought that was so sweet. So he was part of a sweet moment of two complete strangers. So if serotonin can make a stranger stop his journey to witness this, then imagine what it can do in your team. So when I told this story to one of the leaders, they said, okay, so you want me to bake apple pies? No, I need you to invest in your people, invest in relationships. Because if I would bring an apple pie the second day, everybody would look like, here he's with his stupid apple pie again, go away. But if I think about what would they need, what could be of value to them, what could make a difference in their today's life, and I act on that thinking, then I start producing serotonin, which is one of the strongest and most missing hormones in any organization. So if you want to look for dopamines and all these kinds of things, all there, the only thing that is typically a little bit missing is the endorphins. So laughing in the job, that's missing, but for the rest, we're good. And then the last little thing, and that's actually a hard thing to do, which is why I'm taking last. It's one of the most powerful hormones. Is why we put babies on the mother's and father's chest when they were born, because if two people actually touch for more than 6 seconds, there's oxytocin produced, which is called the bonding hormone, or sometimes even the love hormone. We are primed to love. Handshakes of 6 seconds or longer are more likely to make sure that people don't screw each other over, and they actually trustworthy step into that relationship. So having touch be in your system would be a really good thing. The only problem is our current system of remote and pandemic and all these kinds of things make it a culture, make it harder to do it. So my current focus with all Scrum Masters and RTEs I'm working with is to start looking at how can we create serotonin in the system and how do we create endorphins in the system? Because these two make the difference that make a whole system factors faster, more productive, more engaged, better results. The brain at positive performs about 30% better than the brain at neutral or stressed. So if we can get endorphins out and serotonins in, we would actually make the world really a better place in every single release train that you have. So your job as a hormone training engineer is basically saying, I want to make sure my train has enough endorphins to laugh at the face of danger, and at the same time, serotonin, so we take care of each other. If you look at Navy, Marines, same systems apply. You take care of your men, they take care of you. These kinds of reciprocities are based on serotonins. So with that, let me see if there's anything else. There's a couple of examples I have. There's more stuff here. But I think we have to call it a little bit the end of the keynote. I have one example that I wanted to share because it was quite funny. I had a product owner who was a total, I can say it here because I'm not going to tell which team it was. It was a jerk. Okay, I mean, he was a real jerk to the team. He would come in at the end of the sprint, not being there the whole sprint, and then saying, and did you finish all the stories? Right? That's the kind of question he would ask. Like, well, did you finish? And everybody's like, well, no. So nobody could make him different. He was acting as a supply or a vendor that he was kind of managing or something. So the only thing I did, hands together at the end of the sprint planning, him involved, you're part of the planning, hands on top of each other. So this is oxytocin actually happening. I need to put this in. So hands everybody like this and say, okay, team huddle at the end. Are we going to do this together, folks? Yes, we're going to do this together. Hands on it. 6 seconds or longer. Oxytocin starts to flourish. People look each other in the eyes. Mirror neurons start to happen. And go. Let's do it. He comes in a week after because he was still acting in his own behavior, right? But his question starts to be different. Where do we stand? Was his literal first question when he came into the team again. So this is how simple the mammal, the human body system and brain and the lizard brain works. If we have touched base on something, which is an expression, then we're more likely to actually commit to do it together. So oxytocin is an important factor. But at the same time, I know it's a little bit harder in today's culture and online virtues to get that going. So I would always advise you to go serotonin first. Yes, this is the wrap-up slide that says, well, these are the 6 hormones you need to take into account. 2 of them have your special attention, endorphins and serotonins. Go and produce these hormones, and you'll make your train, let's say, twice as good. Thank you.